right, good evening world, good evening cryptoverse. Hope you guys are doing good. It has been a really good day for us. It's a good day for BTC. My last stream was quite bearish, yet Bitcoin decided to defy the bearish triangle, and we did put out a long signal just in time to catch this up move. And so my short, I was looking to, we didn't short bottom, right, which is smart, and I had a head short up here, which got stopped out, and decided to long a little lower, and now we are in profits. That being said, if you guys have not been following our streams, we had a head short here, we had a long here, on this candle, and then we had another short here. So we've been trading the big swings. We didn't quite catch bottom this time, right? Because I didn't have faith down here, and I figured wait for confirmation, and we got that confirmation today. Last night, as BTC was climbing up to touch our trend line for the descending triangle, it did a pennant, it broke out, it failed, and it came back down and retested. And then I saw, if you go into like a smaller time frame, I saw a smaller Adam and Eve, and I'm going to go over the large one. There was a little bit of an Adam and Eve here, and I figured wait for the dip, see what happens. So I picked our stop loss at 9,962 and said long 10,060. Here, this is what the signal looked like. Right here, we had our first target at 10,300 and second target at 10,595. And we are past target 1. We did not hit target 2 yet, and it looks like we're finding support up here. So this has been good, and based on my bearish stream, I said there's also a bullish condition that should be met for me to invalidate my bearish view, and that would be our Adam and Eve that we're seeing play out right now. So I'm going to draw that out, and I mentioned there was a smaller Adam and Eve on a smaller time frame. And we've seen Bitcoin do this historically, bottom out with an Adam and Eve. And I'd say the top of this Adam is going to be right here. And I put up this chart, and I said if we get a close above 10.7, our next target is going to be way up here, which is 11.6. So my two bullish targets for BTC is at 10.7 close, which is 10.696, right? 10,700. It's going to be this Feb level up here, the 78.6, because we're above the 61, where I expected bears to defend. And they kind of got ran up. We ran over these bears all the way. And now, we're going to look for 10.71. If you get a close above here, then I want to see a swift move up to that 1.272 for an 11.7, 11.69, possibly short there or hedge a short there before continuation. And ironically, one thing I had said is that what's going to be the fuel for Bitcoin, if you guys remember my diminishing demand stream and the diminishing demand medium publication, we'd said that because we were expecting a blow off top on indices, that's why demand is diminishing for Bitcoin. But if we hop into the S&P, hey Delilah, if we hop into the S&P, I'm going to use ES1. I've been monitoring a head and shoulders, and it's playing out violently, guys. This thing's selling off in post-market. This thing is dumping, and we haven't gotten the blow-off top, so that's kind of why I believe the volume's selling back into Bitcoin. It's increasing demand. Now, on the ES, on the futures chart, it doesn't quite look like a head and shoulders as severe as it does on the S&P, so I'm just going to hop on the S&P chart. And today, I posted that, hey, this big head and shoulders is playing out. I called out some calls and some put targets, as well as an SPXL play, which is, we bought it, and as soon as we did, it went into the money. So there's this head and shoulders up here that we were eyeing, and that one broke down. There's also a bigger one. Is there a bigger one? There's also a bigger one that's now playing out. All right. I announced this one to our VIPs and I said, hey guys, this is a shoulder, big head, shoulder. There's a small one here. So this thing's definitely looking very toppy. And I did post some targets, and it's at our first bearish target, and it's at that 1.272 extension right now, right? And there's a 2% target on this big head. I think we're going to sell off more violently. So there's two things that fueled this, which is a less unexpected rate cut, and Trump announced more tariffs on Chinese goods, another like 10% on I'm not sure what all, but so this should put the S&P back in that 290 range if this sell-off continues. And if you look at this selling volume, guys, if you look at this selling volume, it is intense. It is high. Problem is there's a little bit of a bullish div on RSI. Let's go to the daily and see what the RSI on the daily chart is looking. It's not looking good for daily RSI. Look at these. This is like the two highest volume selling days since freaking... what was this, December? All right, so this could be the beginning of a crash. It should cause a good hedge in the BTC, and I'm not saying it's a hedge, but the charts have been showing an inverse correlation, so it's kind of hard to deny the presence of that. And there's links to some of the medium publications I've posted, and that's why we had the diminishing demand. But now that we're stock market or the S&P and indices are in crash mode, that should put BTC back up in that uptrend because you do have an inverse correlation. What are charts that I have primed up for us? So Bitcoin dominance took a turn for the upside. This thing was looking fairly necked. By necked, I mean below a neckline of a head and shoulders. So we're going to go to the 240. And so that was a head and shoulders here, and there was an inverse one there, and alts decided to just come back down. But we do know that there's always that retest of that shoulder, right? And if we break back down here, it's going to be interesting, but I don't think it's gonna. And to protect VIPs, in my notes, I tagged everyone on Tuesday, and it's pretty much said if this triangle breaks down, we can expect alts to get really ugly and follow BGC. And my last thing in my notes on Tuesday was tighten stops on alts. They decided to dump with BTC. Well, BTC decided not to dump, and alts decided to flow back into Bitcoin. So if you guys are in VIP and you followed my tighten your alts alert, then you guys got stopped out either in profits or at entry, and your long, your XBTUSD long should be in pretty good profits, right? So we're trying to stay ahead of the market. We did have one call go south, which was USO, but I did mention a profit take yesterday. And yeah, so hopefully you guys got out when I said get out, and you should be up. You guys are cross trading 370, 400%. On our long, on our Bitcoin long. So short time frame, we're seeing a little bit of a sell-off right now. What do I think of that? I don't think this is high. I don't think this is distribution. The way this candle looked, it looked like price discovery and a stop hunt, but I'm not seeing a high volume distribution here. I want to see this flag play out. I want to see us hit my upwards target. I'm not even seeing a on our harmonic scanner, there is not one bearish signal. I scanned every time frame, the 120, the 30, the 15. So this was our last bearish signal, and I shared that one. Let's go maybe the 15-minute time frame. This is a 120. There was a bearish one here. We decided to long it instead. Let's go to the 30. So I'm not seeing any kind of bearish harmonics. It was this crab. We called that one. And then decided to long around here. And now we are up. And hopefully this bull flag decides to break out overnight. It's going to put our longs in a really good position. All right. Anybody have questions on BTC, Ether, the S&P, anything I just covered? I haven't covered Ether just yet. So Ether's lagging. ETHUSD is lagging. I did announce a long entry on futures for another upwards continuation. Ether's doing this symmetrical triangle, right? and it's either gonna pump or it's gonna dump from this level where it is right now. So I figured have a good long in, and if we decide to break out and decides to neck us out, or stop us out, then we're gonna short it, right? But I'm looking for a better short entry. I don't see a reason for this triangle to break down other than this big sell-off. But I believe if BTC decides to continue this uptrend, then this triangle is likely to break out to the upside. Because if BTC decides to break out and go up to that 11.6 mark that I mentioned, I do believe that it's going to bring in a little more retail, that BTC juice, the BTC FOMO we love to see when we are long. And knowing coins and how they're correlated, Ether futures might pump, right? Ether USD might make an up move just following BTC. People looking at an entry to crypto. That's not 10 grand, but that's 217 bucks, right? And we do know that Ether futures, Ether CME futures are going to launch this year on the CME exchange, which is a good thing. I'm going to switch to the Coinbase chart, have more historical data. Yeah, the fact that there was a big impulse down before this triangle, I don't like it, but it's looking like hopefully it breaks up. All right, I've got Can I talk a little bit about Cam was talking about an elite, about what led to the second leg run in regards to RSI? Let me catch up with Cam's RSI charts. Is it today's post or MDRP? Okay. I'm gonna leave that up to Cam. You know, he's taken a big handle on everything going on in our elite group, so I'm gonna leave that up to Cam. But we're looking for trend line breaks, and we're looking for midline, or yeah, MDRP, which is like mid-range divergences. So going back to XBTUSD, so we've seen a little bit of a bear dip here, but I think it's going to continue to the upside because all the other time frames look good. But one thing we want to see is RSI finding support, right? So this should have been the long signal. I waited for a confirmation. We got in over here. But when RSI, when your momentum oscillator finds support at previous resistances, we're going to see a reversal of some type, right? So now I want to see it break over above that 82 high, which go to the 4-hour, it's not divergent at all. It looks good. And if we're running our resistance points on that, we did see support earlier, right? Actually, the 4-hour gave us an earlier signal to long. But I really wanted to see what happened at this trend line because it looked like a bearish triangle. All right, thoughts on QDM and Raven. You guys on Facebook, YouTube, start showing me some alts and I will cover them. So Raven, I got stopped out on one of my bags, and my other bag I did not. I put a stop on it. Why? Well, they're different exchanges, right? So I've got a bag on Bittrex and I have a bag on Binance. I do know that Raven futures or leveraged Raven futures are now trading on like BXB. I'm not sure about that exchange just yet. I'm gonna look into it, but so it's probably getting shorted a little bit. But we do know like this is probably one of the most hyped coins of this year, and it's definitely still looking. If you look at this 120. This would probably be a good time for me to add on my Bittrex bag because the formation is an inverse head and shoulders. But we want to wait and see what it does, right? This thing has time to play out. It failed over here, so we could be making that lower shoulder and moving back up. What was it that did that? RLC. I woke up and I was checking some top gainers today, and RLC was just pumping. And it did something very similar. So let me do that. Right? It had that sell-off and then it started moving up. And it made a big move today coming from that shoulder. It made 26%. That's not a big pump in terms of crypto. And it's not looking like the same chart. I'm not sure what's happening here. We're trying to figure out internally what's going on with it in terms of like what moving averages caused this pump. Now if we go to the 120, it looks like it's priming for a breakout. Only problem is dominance, right? Are they going to defy Bitcoin dominance? Or is Bitcoin dominance ready to kind of cap off at this shoulder line right here and circle back around and do a little bit of this? Right? So if BTC.D starts doing that, I've got a close eye on alts for re-entries. Back to Raven, we could be seeing something very similar to what we saw on RLC. So I'm going to go back to RVN chart. Now I got all my overlays and indicators. So yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing a bull dev on these two lows. We go on the 4-hour chart. Yeah, I'd wait for that neckline to close. Once we close that neckline, we should get another, definite bottom in. Going over Qtum. You guys on Facebook been awfully quiet. Smash that like button once or twice. If I just covered your coin on YouTube, please smash that like button. Help us out. We provide better quality TA than 90% of the channels out there, and the YouTube algorithm just doesn't like us. So they keep pretty much nerfing us, not giving us good exposure. So help us out, guys. Smash that like button. Drop us a comment. All right. I'm not liking Qtum right now. Trying to find a time frame to like Qtum. Let me go to the Binance chart. It's got 75 BTC on it. Well, hey, guess what? It looks just like RLC. We have the pump and I have a sell-off, and hopefully we get another up move. That's a hopeful up move. Alts are definitely starting to get back in a momentum zone. They're starting to trade above one of our key moving averages where things like to get pumpy. So I want to see a close. I want to see these two cross over. I do. What does the 120 look like? Not good. Maybe the 30. So there's going to be a lot of sell-offs right now, right? Because dominance just shot up over the last few days. I'm glad that I signaled to our VIPs to tighten their stops. There's always a lower buyback option. Now, the daily RSI is starting to look divergent, right? So we're seeing this failure swing here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Qtum turn as long as Bitcoin dominance doesn't breach that shoulder I was talking about, right? It's going to be hard to find an altcoin that's just going to outperform BTC in this long run. And if we do find one, it's going to be great. But until we see that, we're going to be better off in Bitcoin right now, right? Unless we get a turn here and then it's time to load up on alts again. Thank you, Delilah. Thank you, Maltiga. LTC. Check LTC USD. And See, I see a potential Adam and Eve here. Those inverse head and shoulders down here. So I'm gonna kind of do some hindsight charting. And I think I covered this in a previous stream. Right, so it's still above this neckline, but this could be an Adam and Eve on Litecoin. It's kind of coming down to retest. There's a breakout formation. It just looks choppy. This is a failure swing on the hourly. It's not looking that strong. Now, if we go back in time, and Litecoin was at 120, we were here, and I said this thing's gonna come down. Right, and I said we can buy back at 80, and it came down to 78. And the reason I said that was it was a descending triangle. We might be seeing something similar on BTC where it does a descending triangle. Decides to, this one didn't close above, not even if you take the wicks, right? But there was a little bit of a triangle here. And it didn't look very promising. And if we stick to just the candle bottoms, if we stick to these candle bottoms and ignore the wicks, this is what this chart's telling me to do right now. What happens with these candle tops? Did we get a bull trap? We got a little bit of a bull trap. It didn't pump hard though, and then it kind of just came down. So we could be seeing a bull trap on Bitcoin, right? We could. But I'm not getting any bearish signals. I'm not seeing high volume distribution. I saw this is like more of a price discovery. Nobody's selling the breakout. The 15, maybe the 5. Okay, this was a high volume, this attempted high volume distribution. This was more price discovery. Now we're trying to move up again. I think the halvening's priced in. I mentioned the halvening was priced in during the stream where I said that triangle was going to break down at 120. Now, I've been wrong about Litecoin. I've been wrong about Litecoin more than one occasion. What is RSI telling us on the daily? So the stochastic wants to move up. Are we above resistances? 120 just did something I don't like, right? So we're going to come back down. Overall, the trend... So we could be seeing an attempted Adam and Eve too, right? If you look at the daily chart, it's doing a little bit of a rounding action, around bottom, a descending, broadening wedge. 720, bull flag. This could pump. It could go up. I think it's a 50-50. I think, but I definitely think momentum in here has been to the upside. When is the halvening again? Give me a date, guys. I'm not a big Litecoiner. So we could be seeing an Adam and Eve here too, right? And this Eve didn't go as low as the Adam, but it's defined by a sharp dip followed by a rounding action. So this thing could break out. This thing could turn around and head up. It could. Very much. Look at the DXY on one of these monitors. Seeing why gold is dipping. Okay, well, DXY is trying to turn around. That's why. All right. What else do we have? So it's 6 days away. It's 6 days away. I wouldn't bet on a pump, and I don't know, man. This is what I'm seeing on the chart. A little bit of an Adam and Eve. A little bit of a bull flag. I had mentioned sell 120, buy back 80. It's at 97. So if you wanted to apply some of the things that Cam does and that we do on RSI, right? The long signal was here. Broke the trend line. I can clean those lines up a bit for you guys. You guys deserve that. So, broke the trend line and then retested it to the upside at 86. Right, we're at 97. Let me check Litecoin, Bitcoin. It's so painful. It's not as painful as the Ether BTC chart, right? At least it's still like peer. I wouldn't expect to move back up to like to these highs. I wouldn't expect to move up to the 0.018 or 0.017 in the next 6 days. If we see it, we see it. That's great. This could be something similar to what we saw back here. And if you guys have been trading with me for a while, you know we got stopped out of a long over here on Litecoin. We had a bullish pennant. Litecoin likes to shake everybody out, right? So you see these pennants that kind of break out, break down, do a pump, and then fail and retest, right? So we could be seeing something very similar. I'd give it some time. I don't have a definitive answer, but I'm trying to do a deep dive for you. So it's currently below support. I'd wait to see what happens at like 0.0089 Satoshis, that previous low. That's all I got for Litecoin. All right, Neo and Dash, good suggestions. We had a long signal on Neo, and then we got stopped out in profits at like T2. Last time we traded Neo was a couple weeks ago. Going to the 240 chart. It's coming back down in that buyback range. I don't have faith in this chart right now. I thought this was it. So I think Neo's going to do another lower low. And the reason I say that is if you look at the Neo daily chart, anytime we have a real bull run, it does a lower low. So we might be heading down lower. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Unless it's like a TD9. Let me put this on Neo Bitcoin, TD sequential. Man, that one's locked. Let's use glasses. That one's pretty reliable. Going in on a daily. So it signaled it over here, right? We bought it, got stopped out at the target, and now we're coming back down. It's at a TD6. So I'd expect a little bit more of a sell-off. Let me go to the 4-hour chart. The 240's given a 9. I just don't see a formation. I don't see a clear formation here. I'd rather trade a formation. I would opt for a lower low on Neo unless this 9 plays out. Alright? Unless this 4-hour 9 plays out. What's RSI doing here? We do have a lower low, so we could be divergent. I could be wrong. Alright, best way to look at Neo right now is a range, right? So it's definitely in a range. I'm going to get rid of the TD sequential. How is a range defined? By 3 touches, right? How do you trade a range? You buy support, you sell resistance. Don't expect the breakout. 1, 2, 3, right? So we had support. He had resistance here, broke above it, came back down. This is first touch, second touch, third touch, fourth touch. So we could be in a range. But I know this chart likes to capitulate. The only reason I'm saying we're going to see a lower low just based on how Neo reacts to ranges. If it's going to fly, if you're expecting Neo to really break out, I want to see a lower low first. It's just done that every time. Dash. Dash is back at previous low. Is this a divergent low? It looks like it's divergent. The problem is right now, guys, is Bitcoin dominance. Right, if Bitcoin goes back into full-on surge mode, it's gonna hurt all the alts. That's why I said tinier stops. I was expecting a dip, but decided to rip instead. So what's happening with Dash? Is this a clean RSI buy signal? Not yet. Not yet, right? I mean, if you're gonna follow our RSI strategy when we're teaching our elite traders, it's not time ready. It's not ready. It's not ready. We don't have a confirmation. Let me go back to Neo, see if we do see an MDRP or a momentum trend break. No, it's not ready. IOTA, I've not checked on IOTA, and I will do so for you. I've had some pretty interesting announcement go out today. Man, lower low. I'm not happy with it. Not happy with it. I wouldn't touch it, not just yet. I don't know if they do staking, if this is something you're looking to stake or you're gonna run a node on, it's probably a good time to buy. But other than that, I don't think it's looking like the best chart. Run it on my moving averages. Gotta work on my posture, man, when doing these streams. 60. Four hour? So we had a bullish div here, we broke out. Didn't quite get a bearish div. Coming back down, it's oversold. I mean, one could buy here. I don't see a good reason to, though. What alert did you not get, Fred? Alright, fam, you guys hit me with some more alt suggestions. If not, I'm going to go back to the Bitcoin chart, check our sequentials, and probably wrap it up. Alright, so intraday, what am I expecting at BTC? I think if this sell-off continues, I want to see it turn around at 10.265. That's where the 1.272 fib is of this up move. I'm very glad we cleared it, and I'm very glad we're trading above the 618 on this move, right? This is where bears are going to try to defend. Now, if we close below that 1.272, which is 10,200, ironically, 1.2 is 10.2. How crazy is that? Right, 126 can't even mean if we close below 10,200 262, which is the 1.272 fib of this last up move, I'd start being worried a little bit. But until then, I think this up move should continue. If it doesn't, then this was probably a bull trap, and then the down move is going to continue, right? So I'm going to keep an eye on this, keep you VIPs updated in case we get a short signal or an exit or trail your stop even higher. Style Lumen, PPT, nulls, and fun. All right. These are going to be the only more alts I'm going to cover. Other than that, call it a day. So nulls, I had a good position. Tight by stop when I put out my Titan stop alert. I was really looking forward for a breakout, and you didn't get it. Excuse me, guys. Running allergies, drinking tea, got a sore throat. Not feeling my best. But I mean, the daily RSI is so divergent here. We are still in the wedge. This thing's clearly in a wedge. That was my bullish inclination. That's why I decided along there. It dipped below and lower and lower. That's why we had stops at the bottom of the range, right? I think our stop was previous low, so 59.24 or 51.38. And this is below stop. And these two lows are starting to get divergent on the daily. I'm going to wait for the wedge break before I re-long, so I'm just going to set some alerts here. That should notify me if it doesn't move. Rather, so do not enter oil right now. Do not buy oil right now. I'll cover oil shortly. PPT. So I covered PPT for somebody in the stream the other day, and I said it looked like it's gonna pump, and it pumped, and it came back down. Right, it sold off. We were here, and I said PPT looks good, and it's gonna continue, and it continued up, and then dominance turn. Now it's coming back down. Is this a good buyback? I want to wait and see what the whole market structure does. Going on a 4-hour, this would be possibly a structural retest of this pennant, but it's actually penetrated it. Maybe if the 4-hour RSI goes oversold and we get a turn, I'd be more inclined to re-long, right? And I mean, this should have been a take profit, or at least a stop loss trail, right? You got to trail your stops in these market conditions. All right, so this big accumulation pennant, and then RSI got, and this was a sell signal here. I didn't signal it for us, but this right here should have been a sign. Right, where you got same RSI on a higher high on a 4-hour chart. That's not good. That should have been the exit, or at least trail stop, like to this MA, to our last candle close. And upon doing so, that would have been a clean 20% gain in BTC value. That's how you gotta trade these days. I'm gonna throw up BTCUSD overhead, because Ether's doing something funky. It still looks good. Drew Donaldson, thank you for the blessings. Guys, smash that like button. Covered nulls. Why did I just click on that? Lumens. So a lot of stuff's moving in unison, right? I think like Head and Shoulders decides to close on Raven. I mean, look at lumens here. It's back below my accumulation range. What's RSI? RSI is lower. I mean, this thing's looking like a bullish dip, but I want to wait for a close on a bullish engulfing candle. Stella, quiet. Dog is barking a fuss. So I want to see like a bullish engulfing candle around bottom, something that tells me it's gonna move up. I mean, if you do decide to break those previous lows, you know, we're gonna go down to 686, which I don't want that for lumens. Once again, the 4-hour time frame, they didn't quite do a divergence there. The same high. Definitely a dominance play. I have not traded fun or mentioned fun in some weeks. I'd stay away, guys. I'd stay away. 6.7 Bitcoin being traded. I would stay away. Like currently, alts, if the only alts I am getting other than our signals are going to be accumulation plays, right? Like you guys saw I had Zcoin opened up when I first flipped to Coinigy. I'm looking to make another big buy. Why? Because I want to run a lot of Zcoin nodes. I ran one node in 2017 that I bought for like $7 grand and sold it for upwards 130. You know, look for those accumulation plays, things that you think are good projects that are going to be that you can put in a master node. So right now, what's Zcoin USD? XGC USD, right? It's at 850, right? If this thing hits $7, or if it goes down to like 816, I'm buying. I'm not buying a little, I'm buying a lot. Should have been buying at $4, right? But I wanted a confirmed uptrend, and it was higher in BTC value up here. But this thing already did a big up move in terms of USD. It made over 100% move. Right? And I want to see that before I start accumulating. I want to see like good fundamentals. So they just announced like a Sigma protocol, which is making it more private. The nodes pay like a good ROI. And if this thing gets moving again, or when this thing gets moving again, definitely have a bubble on our hands, right? But I've seen Zcoin go from $7 to $14 to $140. So if you're looking to accumulate coins are going to pay you interest or rewards, staking rewards. In terms, like that's what I mean by interest, because you're going to be able to sell those a whole lot more, and you're putting it somewhere where it's actually earning you that coin, USD or BTC value, that you can turn around and dump it when it does go flying, and that's how you make a lot of money. Yeah, so people that accumulated Zcoin here when BTC was bottoming February, they got in at $4, right? And it's now at 8.15, actually shot up to like 14.15. So going over oil. It's tricky, man. I was selling oil faster than freaking OPEC today to get out of all my positions. I had a lot of positions. So, and it could actually turn back around. So, oil is known to have an inverse correlation with stocks, and it actually turned around at the 1.272. So if you're gonna take out oil calls at this point, I think 1150 calls that are far out. So like an 816, 1150. You want to be as close to in the money as you can, right? Because it turned around at 1.2. Why did I put out the call for $12, and why did I say profit ticket yesterday? We're trading 1.2s here, right? So we traded this one. This is when I put out the call. I said, hey guys, this is going to turn around. It's going to go to 12 bucks. And over the course of like 2 weeks, it turned around and hit 12.26. And now it's coming back down to this 1.2. What are crude oil futures doing in after hours? Because this thing's not trading, but crude light is. It turned around at freaking 1.2, man. I shouldn't have dumped my oil so fast. I think I'm still holding a few contracts that are next week for 12 bucks. But at this point, I would not look for $12 calls. I would look for 1150 calls and sell them when they're in the money. This could also be head and shoulders, guys, so be careful. I would not want to trade oil right now. I think other than unless it does this, then it bottoms out and goes mooning, it's good. So I think 1150 is the safest USO call on the market right now for tomorrow, for the end of the week. Political turmoil should move prices up. And here's the thing, if the stock market crashes and oil crashes, it's going to be terrible. So they're going to do whatever they can to move up oil prices if indices pull back. So we're going to see more tankers blowing up. That's what we saw on the June 13th, June 14th. This was our first time we longed oil this year. It was like June 13th. I put out the long call. Right here. This is June 12th. This is June 13th. June 14th started the uptrend. Got a long here. TP here. Maybe a long here. TP at 1150. This could have been a shakeout and a stop hunt. It probably was. There's a lot of accumulation here. Thank you, my little adventure. Cheeky 20%. Great call on BAT. Smash that like button, please. Bad. Pumped up. I said tighten your stops, right? And now it's coming back down. I really think we're in accumulation. I really think we're in altcoin accumulation. And I'm looking to accumulate. If they're not momentum trades, I'm just buying nodes, guys. Make yourself some passive income. Set a node budget aside. Right? I mean, we did see a flag breakout come back and retest here. We saw a flag breakout come back and below the flag. So we might be coming down for another final low. Alright, fam bam, I am glad if you guys listened to my tightened stops on alts from this past Tuesday. You should have tightened stops, gotten in on some pretty good profits, just like that BAT call. Alright, last thing in my notes was to tag everyone, tighten stops on alts, right? If you guys got in on our BTC long, you should be in profits. I'm going to check on our To the Moon. Why can't I find our channel? So just from today, you got some 358, 231, 380, some pretty good longs, right? Kevin, he traded TLT. This was another traditional market signal that the guys put out. Cam and Kevin worked on this one. I mean, they bought these calls for 15 cents. Or $15 a call. They sold them at $50, and now they're worth $1. I mean, 553%, 320, 358, 230, 380. So we're doing everything we can to get you guys in the profits. If you're not on Discord, click that link. It's in the Facebook stream. If you're on YouTube, you need that link. Let us know. We'll drop it in a comment. Other than that, thank you all for tuning into the stream. Thank you for all quick suggestions. Share this with your friends. Drop it in your favorite crypto groups, and I'll see you guys on Discord.